I built my business without a website, without a big logo, without spending a bunch of money. All things that we kind of get hung up on. I don't have the right color on my CV, and none of those things matter. Your knowledge is your value as a nurse. But again, website doesn't really mean anything. If you want to surprise yourself, for those of you old enough, go look in a phone book in the yellow pages under attorneys. Now, Louisville's a small city. There's 50 pages of attorneys, which I was shocked by because we're less than 1 million people. They want someone to work with that they know and trust. They want to know how long you've been a nurse, what's your background for nursing. I've never had one attorney in 5 years say, "What's your website? Let me check out and see if you're real." So I'm still walking around without one 5 years later. Sitting here talking to you and just talking to other parents. And I knew several of them were attorneys. And like everybody else, I want to test the water and see, is this for real? My gosh, this could be real. People really use LNCs. This is the real deal. This is not just someone telling me this. I have my first case. So anyways, we chat about that. My attorney that I know actually pops in about 20 minutes after and says, "Oh, I see you got started." And I'm looking at him like, you could have given me a heads up that someone I'd never met's coming in here and just popping a case down to talk to me about 20 minutes into going into this case. And the crux for me was, how do I put this in a report? How do I reach out to attorneys? How do I write a report? How do I do all that stuff? The biggest thing about starting your own business and going to LNC is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's like another language to us. When we take report and we have the CHF, COPD, PBD, we look like we have letter salads on our report page and never write a word. We go over stuff in our head 1,000 times. And I'm like, I'm a nurse, but I do legal nurse consulting. They know you're a nurse. And as we know, people will tell you anything and everything, way more than we want to know in the hospital because you're a nurse. So for me, that's why I like those warm leads. And I think just being able to talk to some random stranger who I'm probably never going to see again in the grocery store, which is not always the case. Sometimes they wind up being an attorney. I've run into people that have businesses that screen people for large jury pools for these big cases. So really fascinating backgrounds just by talking to random people. God knows if you've been a nurse more than 20 years, you've been through everything as far as flow sheets and different computer systems and chartings and everything, just with your knowledge that you have in it. It doesn't matter how many cases you've done under your belt because you look through cases and records every day that you've been a nurse. Anything to do with kids are such a great specialty to have. NICU is not my area of genius. I'm an adult ICU nurse. If you're a med-surg nurse, you can do anything because you've taken care of every kind of patient there is under the sun, right? There is no right or wrong. And as far as Googling or looking up, probably half the attorneys are not on LinkedIn. I would say about 50% are, 50% are not. We can work in every state or do cases from every state because we're not practicing nursing. We're a consultant. So if you are into more the warm leads, in-person marketing, business to business there, that's a great one to look into. Make it be you because you don't want to, a lot of people will say, "Oh, I like so-and-so's page. I want mine to look exactly like this." But you're not them. That's the attorneys that you're going to attract back is people that are like you and that want to work with you. And again, I'll go back to the hospital and nursing area. When we have a physician who doesn't know, instead of BSing you and they're like, "You know what? Let me ask Dr. Smith. He's done 500 of these." And if you misspeak or God knows I say stupid stuff all the time on a daily basis and I just call it out. What was I thinking? The main thing to take away from this is just that procrastination and fear that we all have because we have been nurses. And it wasn't a lack of skill. Everyone goes through imposter syndrome when they first start this, feeling that saying, "Can I do this? Should I do this? Am I able to do this?" Fear of the unknown, but it's exciting. It's new. It's an adventure. It's exhilarating. And you've done this every day for as long as you've been a nurse. And that's what makes you the most ready for this. These attorneys will never be in an OR, an ICU, in an ER during a trauma. That's where our knowledge and our value comes in. You can have AI analyze anything, right? It can tell me what something says. It can give me a brief summary on a 10,000 page book, but it can't tell me if there's pages missing from that book, right? It can't tell me if there's a different ending or if a chapter has been altered or it's a new edition. I love being a nurse. I'm a trauma junkie. I like the IR aspect. If someone walks in, I sedate them, and then an hour later they walk out. And I think just that comfort level of, I've got this. I have enough cases where I can replace my income tenfold. I know people who've been legal nurse consultants for 5 and 8 years and like, you know what, I go pick up once a month just because I enjoy it. I like to see if there's anything new, what's changed policy wise, et cetera, et cetera. My one recommendation I would make for people is we teach you to send a letter of agreement and get a retainer before working on a case, which is very common in the legal world. Lesson learned there is get your retainer and bill as you go and be paid for the work that you're doing. I can work with who I want to work with. So if there is someone where you do have a negative interaction or unpleasant, I was professional about it. Just send an email of, hey, thanks. It was a great phone call. There's millions and millions of attorneys out there, and there surely are not enough legal nurse consultants. It's just been an amazing journey so far and wouldn't change it for the world.